Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for SAT. We have been solving SAT math problems out of this book here, the official SAT study guide. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that we are about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 888. Please turn to it, page 888. Today is our lesson number 122. Let's see what we have there. We have 4 problems there, 4 multiple choice problems. First 2 are medium, and the next 2 in the following column, second column, they are hard, 7 and 8. Because they go on a scale of 1 to 8, there are only 8 multiple choice questions. Beginning with question number 9, we'll have a new scale of difficulty, which will go from 9 through 18 for the gradient questions. Number 9 is very easy. Number 8 is very difficult, because the scale switches, you see. Number 5. In the picture above, the perimeter of the triangle, we are told, equals 4 plus 2 times root 2. And here's the triangle that is given to us. We are told that this side is x, this side is x, which means these two sides are equal to each other, and it's a right angle triangle. In other words, we have a right angle isosceles triangle. The concept that they're testing here is this. The concept that they're testing here is that if you have an isosceles triangle, if you have an isosceles right angle triangle, and if this side is 1 and this side is 1, then this missing side, let's call it the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse squared would be 1 squared plus 1 squared. 1 squared plus 1 squared is 2, and therefore hypotenuse is going to be square root of 2. This guy here is square root of 2. Now instead of 1, if we had 5 times 1 and 5 times 1, then this will simply be 5 times root. This will simply be 5 times root 2. If instead of 5, if we had 13 times, if these sides were 13, this will simply be 13 times root 2. If this side happens to be k, and this side happens to be k, then it will simply be root 2 times k. Here we are told that these sides are x's, x and x. So this is simply root 2 times x. And therefore the perimeter is x plus x times root 2. And all we have to do now is to match the pattern. You see here, we can see here that we have this quantity here corresponds to this quantity here, 2 times root 2, x times root 2, which means x must be 2. Or we can see from here that these two x's are coming from here. Here we have 2 x's, this one and that one, 2 x's equal 4, which means x must equal 2. Which makes perfect sense, because this is where it's coming from. It's coming from the fact that we have this 4 can be written as 2 plus 2 plus 2 times root 2. That's all. The perimeter of this thing is x plus root 2 times x, which is 2 plus x times root 2. So x must be 2 times root 2, they say, 2 times root 2, which means x must be 2. That's all. The answer is A. Number 6. Number 6, they give you a long chart here, going from 100 all the way to 60, 95, 90, 85, 80, 75, 70, 65 and 60. And we have 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. Then we have 1, 3, 1, 3. We have 185, 3 80s. Then we have 275 and 270s. And then we have no 65s and 160. So these are the number of students and this is their score. Let's see what they're looking for. The scores on Tuesday's history test for 16 kids are shown in the table above. So apparently these are 16 of them here. Let's see. 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 4 is 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 4 is 7, 7 plus 1 is 8. And here we have 3 plus 4, 5 and 3 is 8. So this is the halfway mark. 8 of them are down here, 8 of them are up there. The score for Tuesday's history test for 16 students shown in the table above. Sam, who was the only student absent on Tuesday, will take the exam next week. If it turns out that Sam receives a 95 on the test, what will be the median score for the test? Alright, so we're looking for median score after Sam has taken the exam, Sam being the 17th student. And now that we know that we have 17 students, we're going to have, if we have 17 students, 8 students are going to be below the median. This is our median here. And 8 of them students are going to be to the right of it, 8 students to the left of it, and the 9th student here, but it doesn't matter we go from this end or that end, the 9th student after the score have been arranged in order, that's going to be our median, the 9th student, because if it's the 9th student, that means 8 students have scored above him and 8 students have scored below him. 8 plus 8 is 16, the one in the middle is 19, the one smack in the middle is what's called median. And we are told that Sam receives 95, what will be the median score of the class? So let's find out, shall we? So first thing we have to do is we have to get rid of this line that I put here, because now class is no longer made up of 16 kids, it's made up of 17 kids, and we have one more child who scores a 95. Original exam that was given on Tuesday, 2 students scored 95. Let's bring it down a little bit so we can line them properly. There's 2 students that scored originally of 95 score, and we are told what happens is Sam also scores 95. That's fine. We just have to count 8 students either from the top or from the bottom. So let's do it. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8. There you go, that's our cutoff. And then 8 students from the bottom. 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 2, 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 plus 3 is 8. There you go. You see, 8 students are below it, 8 students are below this kid, and 8 students are above him. And the median is right here. Median will be this score right here, which is a score of 85. The question was, what will be the median? The answer is the median would be 85. That's all. The answer is C. Number 7. Number 7. That's what we have to do when we are looking for median. Whenever we're looking for a median, a bunch of numbers and a series of numbers, the very first thing we need to do is arrange the numbers either in ascending order or descending order, either in increasing order or in decreasing order, it doesn't matter, but they have to be arranged in order. Here they are already arranged. We are told that there was one child who scored 100, there were 2 children who scored 95, there were 4 kids who scored 90, there was one child who scored 85, 3 of them scored 80, 2 of them scored 75, 2 of them scored 70, nobody scored 65, and there was one child who scored 60. Now what happens if Sam happens to score 95? Well, if he scores 95, then instead of 2, we'll have 3. And now we have 17 kids. The median is going to be the one that falls in the middle. 8 students are going to be above that child, whatever the median score happens to be, and 8 students are going to be below him, and that happens to be right here at 85. At 85, there are 8 students above 85, and there are 8 students who are below 85. Number 7. Ahmed has containers of 2 different sizes. The total capacity of 16 containers of one size is x gallon. So 16 containers, I'm just going to call them cans, 16 cans of one size. This is their total capacity. So 16 containers, 16 cans are x gallons. We are also told that the total capacity of 8 containers of the other size is also x gallons. So let's call them 16 of the big ones, or rather 16 of the small ones, 16 small containers, 16 small cans equal X gallon. And we are also told that 8 large cans also equal X gallon. Let's see what they're looking for. We have not read the punchline yet. And the total capacity of 8 containers of the other side is X gallon. Alright. And since they have the same total capacity of X gallon, 16 of one type and 8 of the other, the 8 ones are the large one. As a matter of fact, each large one is, actually we cannot say, I was about to say each large one is twice the size of the small one. We can't, but I retract, we cannot make that statement because there is nowhere in the problem that says that all of these are of the same size. We just know that there are 8 of them that contain X, that can hold X gallon, and there are 16 of other type that can contain same X gallons. In terms of X, what's the capacity in gallon of each of the large container? Oh, there are only 2 different sizes, so they are all of the same size. So which means one large container, one large containers is actually 2 times one small container. What is the capacity in gallon of each of the large containers? Oh, they're making too much fuss about nothing, for crying out loud. We don't need any of this mumbo jumbo. Listen, we don't need this crap. We don't need that crap. This is all we need. 8 of them are X gallon, therefore 1 will simply be X over 8. Oh, for crying out loud. Makes sense. If 8 of them, for example, if you were to plug in numbers here, if 8 of them can hold 32 gallons, and now we're doing plugging in technique, then 1 should hold 32 over 8, or 4. So if you want to plug in some value for X, like I did here, just plug in any value for X that's multiple of 8. We could plug in 60. We could have plugged in 16 or 24 or 32. So in that case, each large container will have a capacity of 4 gallons. Go through the answer choices. Wherever you see X, replace it with 32 until you get 4. And that's going to be 32 over 8, which is same as X over 8. And that's X over 8 is answer choice D. But we're making too much fuss about nothing. This is too simple. You don't have to plug in anything at all. Just think logically. You really don't have to plug in anything. Just think logically. Ask yourself, look, if 8 of them contain X gallon, one of them should contain 1/8 of it. That's all. If the total capacity is X gallon of 8 containers, then one container should have the capacity of 1/8 of the total. Oh, for crying out loud. That's it. Answer is D. I do not know how it qualifies as a hard question. Number 8. The rectangle ABCD lies in an XY coordinate plane so that its sides are not parallel to axis. Alright, so that its sides are not parallel to axis. So we're going to draw that here. Here's our XY coordinate system. But we cannot have a rectangle looking like this. This is not allowed. It cannot be. It says its sides are not parallel to the axis. So this is not allowed. This side is parallel to y-axis and this side is parallel to x-axis. That is not allowed. So let's draw a different one. So we need a rectangle. Let's draw a rectangle. There we go. Here's a nice little rectangle. Now the sides are not parallel to x-axis. What is they asking? What is the product of the slope of all 4 sides of this rectangle? This rectangle that we see here, A, B, C, D. What is the product of the slopes of all 4 sides of this rectangle? Well, the concept that they're testing here is this. Okay, listen carefully. This is a rectangle. You understand? Rectangle means they all make 90-degree angle. This is not a parallelogram. This is not a parallelogram. In a parallelogram, you may have a situation like this. These are not 90 degrees. This is not 90 degrees. Oh, sorry, I drew a rectangle, didn't I? This is not a parallelogram. Parallelogram would be This is a parallelogram. Again, here the sides are not parallel to x and y axis, but again, this is not a rectangle. This is a parallelogram. The two sides are parallel here and two sides are parallel here. These angles that you see here, we have no way of knowing. But because this is a rectangle, we are told, definition of rectangle is that the opposite sides are parallel to each other, and each of the angles is 90 degrees. That's what makes it different from the parallelogram. A rectangle is a special kind of parallelogram where the four angles happen to be 90 degrees. And the concept that they're testing here is this. Listen carefully. The concept that they're testing here is that when two lines are perpendicular, to each other, the product of their slopes equals -1. This is what they're testing here. This is what they want you to understand here. This is what they're trying to see here, whether or not you know this concept and whether or not you're able to see it here. So that's what that is. So for example, slope of line AD times the slope of line AB. And that's how we represent slope. Slope is typically represented with letter M. Don't ask me why. That's just a tradition. It's just a convention, and we're just going to honor the convention. You can use any letter that you want to represent the slope, but as I said, we're going to honor the tradition. We're not going to observe it in breach. We're going to honor it. We're going to actually observe it, and we're going to follow the same tradition. We're going to use letter M to represent the slopes. The slope of line AD will be represented as M subscript AD, and the slope of line AB is going to be M for slope. Slope of which line? Slope of line AB. And their product is going to be -1. Similarly, the slope of line CD times the slope of line BC is also going to be -1, because they are perpendicular. They are sitting at 90 degrees. This is 90 degrees, this is 90 degrees. They are sitting at 90 degrees. And now they're asking us for the product of the slope of all four lines. Well, if the product of these two lines is -1 and the product of the slope of these two lines is -1, then the product of the slope of all four lines will simply be -1 times -1. You take the product of these two lines, you take the product of the slope of these two lines, which is -1, and you multiply by the product of the slope of these two lines, which is -1, and if you do that, you'll end up with the product of the slope of all four lines. So this represents here product of the slopes of all four lines. And that equals -1 times -1. That's what it is. They're looking for what is the product of the slope of all four sides of the rectangle. The answer is -1 times -1, which is simply +1. Well, that was a clever question, wasn't it? The answer is D. The answer is D. That was the number 8, which is the last multiple choice question in this section. As we turn the page, we'll go to gradient questions, and because they are different type of questions, a new difficulty scale will start, starting with number 9. And number 9 on a scale of 1 to 10 is only 1, because there are 10 of them, which we will do tomorrow. Okay? Bye now.